with your host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, broadcasting live on YouTube and X. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 30 and change. It is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025, and the gamut of sports is being played, and we'll talk about all of them, including the College World Series, the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Game 6 tonight, the National Basketball Association Game 5 big OKC win last night, and so much more. Shohei Ohtani stepped on the mound for the first time as a Dodger. It's been 660 plus days since he has pitched in Major League Baseball. Congratulations to the two-way star, some might say future Hall of Famer for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Very exciting there. That is the most Major League Baseball you will get today because we have so much more to get into. If you want to get in on the action, The Rome Show on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, whatever social media handle you have. If you want to do it live on show, straight up with me, go to youtube.com/12OZ Sports, and you can comment live there on the YouTube. Let's start with the best thing that I saw yesterday, which has also been the best thing I've seen all week, which is also one of the three best things that ever happened in College World Series history. That's Gage Wood, the starter for Arkansas University, throwing a no-hitter, the third one ever in College World Series history with 19 Ks. Here are the highlights for you. Check this out.
Missouri Valley Conference pick. Strikes out on the breaking ball. First K for Gage Wood, and there's two down. Gas
19 Ks.
He said he wouldn't mind doing it, just to kind of push away.
119 pitches. He hit one batter during this contest and keeps Arkansas's World Series championship hopes alive, and sadly ends the Cinderella run for Murray State. The Racers get no hit at the College World Series, go 0-2, but that should not be what you remember about this Murray State team. You should remember what they have done, the beautiful stories you heard, and how hard they played. That's what you should remember.
Oh, just buckles. 11 Ks through 5 perfect innings from Gage Wood.
96-98, Gage Wood.
Swing and a miss again. A dozen strikeouts for Gage Wood. Gage Wood's 3-2 to Cunningham. Swing and a miss.
Electric.
Absolutely electric. He's getting his third look at Gage Wood.
Doesn't matter.
2-2 pitch.
And here's what it looks like at the end, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, locked.
Greatness from Gage. A no-hitter. America's hearts, but they ran into Gage Wood today.
Yeah, they ran into Gage Wood, and Gage Wood was elite. Let me say that stat line one more time again. 119 pitches, 19 Ks in 9 innings of work. Ladies and gentlemen, he averaged 2 Ks an inning, 27 batters, 8 of them touched the baseball, and one of them got touched by the baseball because he hit them unbelievable performance. Congratulations for Gage Wood. Congratulations to the Razorbacks, and honestly, to the Pacers as well. Because what a fun story. What an awesome run from their conference championship to the regional championship to the super regional. Awesome, awesome stuff for Murray State. So now what you have left is Louisville will play Oregon State in the losers bracket on side one for the chance to play undefeated Coastal Carolina, who has won 25 straight contests. And then on the heels of a loss to LSU yesterday, which was a wild game, UCLA will play Arkansas in the losers bracket of bracket 2 to play LSU. In that UCLA LSU game, UCLA in the top of the first scored 3 runs, but then gave up in the bottom of the first 4 runs. Okay, 7 combined runs in the first inning. However, they combined for 1 total run the remainder of the 8 innings of that contest for a 5-3 LSU victory. Wild. So Louisville, Oregon State to play Coastal, and Arkansas UCLA to play LSU. Only 6 teams remain in the College World Series, but by the time we turn on the mic for Thursday's show, only 4 will remain. I keep telling you to turn it on. You gotta, because you'll see electric stuff like Gage Wood. The Rome Show, 12ozsports.com, broadcasting live on YouTube and X. Remember to get us on social media, The Rome Show 1, wherever you're following social media. If you missed the show, The Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Last night in Oklahoma City Thunder, Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the Thunder to a huge Game 5 victory over the Pacers, 120-109, putting the stop on a potential Pacers comeback again in the fourth quarter. This game was all about what Jalen Williams and SGA did. The two combined for 71 points last night. There were 40 from Jalen Williams, and there was 31 from SGA. They combined to shoot 50% from the field. That was 23 of 46, and they had 14 combined assists. And what I learned when watching this series is that with about 5 minutes left in all of these games, Indiana versus Oklahoma City Thunder, that's when you're going to get your most action. The scoring just skyrockets, not just in the fourth quarter and the second half of this series, but in the last 5 to 6 minutes of every game played between these two teams so far in the finals, the scoring has just skyrocketed. And it makes for some really entertaining basketball. And yesterday, in the fourth quarter, Oklahoma City Thunder was only up by 2 points at one point. Okay? But they played so suffocatingly good on defense. They forced the Indiana Pacers into a lot of turnovers, 22 turnovers last night. And like they've had for a minute in the postseason, really good bench scoring with 27 more points coming off of their bench. Okay? Big game for OKC last night, and not a good game for Tyrese Halliburton, who is apparently dealing with a leg injury. Now, the bottom line is this Indiana Pacers team cannot have a superstar in Halliburton, or a star, we should downgrade him to now, a star in Halliburton going 2.5 quarters without scoring a point. Here is the stat line for Tyrese last night in Oklahoma City. 0 points, 0 of 6 from the field. 4 points. 0 of 6 from the field. 4 rebounds. 7 rebounds, 6 assists. 4 turnovers in 34 minutes. Whereas Jalen Williams is the only player alongside Kevin Durant and LeBron James since 1998 to score 18 points in the paint and make at least 3 threes. So, 2 completely different sides of the tape here going into game 6 in Indiana. Question number 1 is, will Tyrese Halliburton be healthy enough and or good enough for this Indiana team? Because this is the first time all postseason that Indiana has lost back-to-back contests. Furthermore, since the middle of March, they were 10-0 in such contests. Okay? And so when that happens, and you're coming off blowing a lead, which is you're not really a team to do that because you're so good defensively, and your second best scorer, because Pascal Siakam is the number 1 scorer on this team, but your most clutch player, your supposed star, and the guy you definitely need to show up every game is not showing up and has a slight injury, that is a recipe for disaster. And over the last game and a quarter, Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers have not played their best basketball. And the problem is, this Oklahoma City Thunder team is like sharks in water. A little bit of blood in the water, they're going to attack. And what happened in game number 1, where they blow a lead, is so not like the Oklahoma City Thunder that it makes so much sense that though 4 days ago we were all concerned going into game 4 at Indiana, down 2-1, with a lot of momentum in the Cambridge Fieldhouse on the home team side, you were concerned about Oklahoma City. You knew they had a chance to come back. They're the best team in the league, offensively and defensively. Okay. But there was no, man, I feel like this is definitely going to go 2-2 back to OKC. Absolutely not. And then enter fourth quarter down by double digits, and you're like, oh, man. This is about to be a 3-1 series lead for Indiana, and not just a 3-1 series lead, but oh my gosh, how much momentum do they have 3-1 series lead? This is about to be can OKC come back from this 3-1 series lead? And we're talking about the best team in the league. 68 wins or whatever it was. Blowing teams out in the postseason. The most valuable player. And you are 10 minutes away from a 3-1 series headed back to Oklahoma City. Now, just a very small 4 days later, a very quick 4 days later, you're looking at it the exact opposite way. You're saying to yourself, I don't know if Indiana has any punches left. And that's wrong. I think that's very wrong. I absolutely believe that this Indiana team is one of those teams that's like, it doesn't matter what chips are stacked against us. We're going to be fighting in this thing, especially at home in game 6. I've been believing that this game's going to go 7, and I still think that's going to happen. Okay. But man, how wild is the momentum shift in series like this? And how important has it been? And yesterday, when the Thunder were able to handle the comeback of the Pacers, when the Thunder were able to stop the run of Indiana, it almost felt like, oh, finally someone did it. Because all postseason, when Indiana goes on that run to make a comeback or to go on a run to put themselves widely ahead, it usually works. And no one can stop it. This time they got stopped. And it makes sense because this is the best team in the league. Now, the Thunder remain 1 win away from the franchise's first National Basketball Association title. And we will get that game coming up here in 3 days on Thursday, which I guess technically 2 days, but I call that 3 on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll come back. And it's a Game 6 National Hockey League breakdown for the people. Will the Florida Panthers host the Stanley Cup tonight? Or can the Edmonton Oilers force a Game 7 on their home ice Friday? We'll talk about it here on the Rome Show. 12 OZ Sports, YouTube, X. Stay with us after this.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Yeah, the Rome Show. 12ouncesports.com, broadcasting live on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. Question I've had long standing. Now that X is Twitter, and prior to that change, on Twitter you used to tweet. Do you X now? Like, oh, head over to my X and check out the X that I just threw out there. Hey, I said an X before. Oh, you got to retweet my X. That's not a good line. So what is it? So if anyone could write in on the a formal terminology for what I'm supposed to say, do I continue with the terminology of I sent a tweet, or is there some new terminology for how I X'd on X, which is kind of stupid now that I say out loud. What isn't stupid is Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight, where Edmonton tries to stay alive. Florida has a 3-2 series lead, and we are headed back to the Sunshine State for game number 6. Some numbers for you headed into the contest tonight to get you ready for what you'll be watching. First and foremost, okay, besides the fact that Florida is leading this series 3-2, okay, they are 52, 8, and 4 this season when they score 3 or more goals. 2 of those losses have come to the hands of the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup, while they are scoring 3 or more goals, which should A, tell you how good Edmonton is, okay? But B, really tell you how good Florida is. So pretty simple, easy key for the Edmonton Oilers today is to keep the Florida Panthers to 2 or less goals, which brings us to our keys to the game, starting with the Edmonton Oilers. Let's stay with that point. Pretty easy point if you're looking at Edmonton. Who is your goaltender tonight? Are you going with Calvin Pickard or Mr. Skinner? Pickard has an .886 save percentage and a 2.85 goals against average. Skinner, who is your 1A goaltender based on play time throughout the season and pretty much what's gone on over the last year to year and a half, okay? So he is your essential starting goal contender. He's an .891 with a 2.99. Here's what I think, okay? At the end of the day, this is a clear and obvious issue for Edmonton. Issue is really harsh because you're not in the Stanley Cup Finals, 2 wins away from hosting a cup against the best team in the league and defending champion if your goaltending is atrocious, okay? It's not the best goaltending in the league, but it's not the worst. If we had 30 teams, we'd rank them number 13 to number 17, depending on the day, okay? So you're going into a must-win, win or go home, season over or season continues game. Last year, in the exact same position, the man in between the pipes was Skinner. So if I'm Edmonton and I know that I have been here before, as recent as last season against the exact same team, that leads me to say, well, then I got to go with the guy that won that game for us, okay? And so I'm going with Stuart Skinner. And that is a number 1 key for Edmonton, who's in between the pipes. Key number 2, you gotta be better in the first period. So far in this series, the Florida Panthers have outscored the Edmonton Oilers 11-4 in the first period. So if you're Edmonton, it's pretty simple. Get out of the gates. First 10 minutes of the contest, you want to dominate. And I want to say that in game number 5, they did score first, and it might have been pretty quick, but we're talking first period. First 20 minutes need to be dominated by Edmonton. And, hey, if you have a lead, great. But if at worst you're 0-0 and you didn't give up a first period goal to Florida, that in itself will be a win. And then finally, you got to push the tempo if you are the Edmonton Oilers. This Florida Panthers team can play all different ways, but I think if there was a worst version of them playing, it would be up and down, insane paced tempo. They really can play fast. They have that talent. They're clearly the best team in the league. But this is a Florida Panthers team that wants to muck this thing up a little bit, that wants to play a little physical, that wants you to feel them on the ice. So if you're Edmonton, don't allow them to do that. You want to make this a merry-go-round, flying on that sheet of ice, trying to push the tempo to the best of your abilities. On the other side, with that comes key number 1 for the Florida Panthers. It's physicality. Slow the game down. See how much you can keep Edmonton off of their game. A lot of body contact, a lot of annoyance, a lot of stick checking, a little bit of extra after the whistle. That has proven to work in this series. And then you just play your game, which that is built into your game. But you have so many wily veterans on this team, if you're Florida, that if you can just keep the physicality level on your side as the momentum for you, I just think that is the difference then between them winning this game and hoisting the Stanley Cup and them having to go back for a Game 7. Secondly, special teams for this Florida Panthers team. First and foremost, you have to keep Edmonton at bay. They're are no shorthanded goals that you can be allowing if you're this Panthers team, much like what happened in game number 4. And secondly, as we've talked about all postseason, the best power play is the Edmonton Oilers. Okay. And so you've had games where you're 0 for 3 on the power play if you're the Oilers, and that's the key for Florida. Keep the special teams advantage your way, both man up and man down. Cannot have the breakdowns that you have had, man down and, man up and man down. You have to continue to keep this elite power play at bay. Those are the Rome Show keys to the game tonight, which I am super excited about. And I thought I could do a little bit of this for the people before we get out of here.
Ba, 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 na, na. Ba, 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 na, na.
Oh, all right. Edmonton in this contest is the underdog. Why? Because we're in Florida, okay? But secondly, they have not been the better team in this series. But tonight, I believe they're going to be the better team. So straight up, I'm going to take the Edmonton Oilers. Honestly, you should probably just take the over 6.5 because that's been hitting the entire time. If you're someone that believes in riding it, ride it. I truly believe that Connor McDavid is the best player in the league. I think a lot of people believe that. But is the key, okay? When you hear Nugent Hopkins' name, Leon Draisaitl's name, Connor McDavid's name, it's generally a good night for the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm going to take Connor McDavid 2+ points, and I will take the Edmonton Oilers at the win on the puck line for a Game 6 victory to force a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's the Rome Show on a Tuesday, June 17th. Hope you people have an electric day. Join us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when we talk about that aforementioned game number 6. And Rocky Romanella joins us for Hockey with Rocky to break down either the Stanley Cup champion or why we are getting a Game 7 and so much more. Just tune in. The Rome Show, 12 Out Sports. Andrew Romanella, you have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you for listening.